Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Just a quick update. I'm starting my Mavenclad next week. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I am trying a new disease modifying therapy for my multiple sclerosis. I was diagnosed in 2018. Since then, I've been on Ocrevus and I've been on Kesimpta. Neither one of those worked out. Ocrevus causing a nasty crap gap and just overall fatigue, and Kesimpta leaving me with respiratory infection after respiratory infection after respiratory infection. Wow, I can't talk today, but that's pretty normal. Okay, so what have we got today for you? Well, we have a special little present. I'm going to do a thumbnail. Ready? Does that look shocking? Yeah. Anyway, the Mavenclad showed up, and next week I'm going to start the regimen. You will be here with me if you want to go through that whole thing. So if you're curious about how I react to it, then you're going to get insight into that. Now, I am not a healthcare provider. I am not a doctor. This is not medical advice. I am a bald dude beep, 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 on YouTube that is just trying to figure out a way to deal with his multiple sclerosis. And I have chosen Mavenclad as one of my last lines of defense because A, it's highly efficacious, meaning effective, and B, it works for my situation because I do have the JC virus, which is most people have, but it's very active in me. And so there are other disease modifying therapies I do not qualify for. So while it's not the only option for most people, it would be pretty much the only option for me based on my neurologist, who basically said, wow, your MS is kind of out of control at this point. And very scarily so, I have a lot of issues with my spine. And if I get another spine lesion or one reactivates in there, I could have some very serious mobility issues. So we've decided to go with Mavenclad. Now, Mavenclad, if here's just a quick history of it, it's been around about 19 years. It was originally designed for um, almost like a chemo for hairy cell cancer, but there are so few cases of that they had to kind of, I think, reposition the drug. And it just turns out that it wipes out the immune system and you're rebooting your immune system from the get go. And with all luck, you will not have any issues, the bad side effects, and only the good side effects that basically your MS doesn't come back with your immune system. However, we'll see how that goes. So you're going to be with me as I go through this journey. And I know there are several people out there on my channel that are really wondering whether how this is going to work for me or not. And I know there are several people that are starting this journey with me right around the same time. So comment below because I would love to know what your experience is. Here's how next week looks. I meet with a nurse on Monday via Zoom, and that is a nurse from the MS Lifeline, which is sponsored by the manufacturer. It's their program. She's going to walk me through the dosing, and it's going to take 10 days. And then I don't do anything for another year. And then I think another 10 days, exactly one calendar year later. And then nothing after that for another 2 years. However, there's a chance I may have to do something again after that if the MS comes back. But it is our hope that the MS will not come back at all, ever. So the point being that I don't have to do a regimen every month. I don't have to do one every 6 months. I don't have to do one once a year after the first 2 years. You do this, you get it done, and you're gone. Like you're done. That's it. But there are some pretty serious side effects, like nasty ones, like malignancies, cancers, crap like that. Those are all things that are in other drugs as well, but this I think has a little bit higher rate. And I'm going to read you through some of those crazy side effects because, yeah, they concern me. They concern me a lot. However, we as a team, my neurologist and myself and my wife, and the rest of my family decided that the rewards possibly far outweigh the risks because if my MS gets worse, I'm in big trouble. So let's bust open the box. I'm going to do an unboxing for you right here. Do, 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 do. And of course, it's got some nice instructions there on the top, tell you how to take it. And then oddly, they've got like the dosing regimen here. Now, this is a weight-based dosing. They will ask you how much you weigh and they dose it accordingly. And then you pop this bad boy open. This is like an iPhone, right? Oh, and well, there is your dosing right there. So it says two tablets, two tablets, two tablets, one tablet, and it's broken up over the day. And it says here, day one, two tablets, day two tablets, day three, two tablets, day four, one tablet, day five, one tablet. And then I think you do another five. I don't know. We're going to find that out next week because my memory sucks. So I can't remember exactly what the nurse said on the initial visit, but she's going to walk me through it next week. I know my nurse's name. They've been very good at getting this done and making things move ahead. Now, my insurance did initially reject this and we had to appeal. And their requirement was I had to be on two DMTs that failed prior to this, and I was. So my doctor handled this. I guess this happens quite a bit. This is not a cheap drug. None of them are cheap, but this is, I don't know. In my mind, if you don't never have to take it after 2 years, in the long run, it's actually a much cheaper drug because most of the other MS medications are upwards of $100,000 a year. And if you have to take those in perpetuity and you live another 30 years or 40 years, that's a lot of money. So financially, uh, this is probably more economical. I don't know. I'm not in the insurance industry, but I'm just kind of using my engineering mindset here to do that. Okay, so there's the box. There are 8 tablets in here, and it says separate ingestion of other oral medicines by at least 3 hours before and after taking the Mavenclad. So we've chosen to do it at 12:30 in the afternoon. So I'll do breakfast, wait 3.5 hours, take the Mavenclad, and then wait another 3.5 hours, and then do like a late lunch or dinner. That's going to be a stretch for me because I like to eat during the middle of the day sometimes. So we'll see how that works out. I guess I'm just going to have to tough through it. Okay, so I'm not going to lie to you. I'm very, very concerned about the side effects of this, but they all have gnarly side effects. And here is the nice little pamphlet they gave me. Look at the size of this thing. Now, I have been in marketing before, along with engineering, and I can tell you this is not cheap to put together. And on here we have Selma Blair. If you are not aware of who she is, she's an actress. Okay, big deal. Like she has MS. Sorry, Selma, but I don't really think that has any impact on my decision to take Mavenclad or not. So I thought that was kind of interesting. However, when you open this up, it has real people, but the first page is Selma and her dog sitting at home, seemingly probably on a Friday night, having a great time, looking just as happy as ever, or she's choking the dog out. I'm not really sure which one. But one thing they've done with this, which I really appreciate, when you get your initial diagnosis and they just throw pamphlets at you, and a lot of it is very research and fine print heavy, they've done their homework. And the way they've communicated the message in this patient focused pamphlet is very clear. It's very graphic. They know we don't read things for a very long time because, let's be honest, we don't have a lot of energy. They seem to really understand the patient, and I appreciate that. So, what do I mean by that? When you open this up, it says right up front what it's going to do, what it's done, how many people have been in the study, how many people took the placebo, what the ratios are of success to failures, stuff like that. And it's just quick scanning, quick reading. And okay, then we get into the side effects, and they break down. Let's see if we can do this. They break down the side effects, um, you know, pretty clearly, and they don't try to hide anything. It says side effects, very large print on the top, and it says Mavenclad, and right above it, it says cancer malignancies. That's a bad kind of cancer. 1.1%, so 10 out of every 923 patients versus the people on the placebo were about half that. So less than half that. So, they break it down, and then they also talk about how that stuff develops and how you're monitored for it and all that. Um, so I think they've done a really good job on walking the patient through this. Their program, their internal program, MS Lifelines, is very, very good, like I said. And they talk about their point of contacts here with MS Lifelines. Um, I appreciate that. And I've used them. I used Ocrevus's program. It was okay, and Kesimpta's was okay. I do use CVS Specialty Pharmacy to get my stuff, and I find them to be very good. I have used others in the past, not by choice, and I found those to be disastrous to say the least. CVS, while being a huge corporation that arguably pretty much runs a lot of this stuff, insurance, healthcare, because of their influence, seems to have their stuff dialed in, and they're very clear with stuff. So I've had good conversations with them and good instruction, and I get to talk to a pharmacist and all that stuff. Okay, so there it is. Now, like I said, this is just a quick update on this Friday. Um, I'm gonna say I'm looking forward to getting started and not having to worry about this drug regimen and not having to deal with the fatigue after the initial 10 days or 5 days, whatever it's going to be. The fatigue from the Kesimpta and from the Ocrevus lasted the entire therapeutic dosing. So, like for the next month or for the next 6 months, it was terrible. The fatigue was awful. And when I went off that stuff to get rid of the infections, I just noticed how much, and there's a spider crawling up my leg. I noticed how much the fatigue was affecting me. And it's been 11 months almost since I've been on something. I still don't have any CD19 or CD20 cells. However, um, I got my energy back after like 3 months, and I've been feeling good. Now, I still have a lot of MS fatigue, but it's nowhere near as bad as it's nowhere near as bad as it was when I was on my DMTs. So we're going to give it a go. We're going to give it a go. I'm going to say that towards the microphone. And we're going to see what happens. Like I said, next week we're kicking it off. You're going to be here with me if you want to see how it goes for me. And also, please ask questions below. I'll answer what I can. Of course, they're just going to be based on my experience. Again, I'm not any kind of a professional in terms of healthcare or these drugs or any of that stuff. But I can tell you, do I feel like crap? Do I not feel like crap? What am I going to do that day to get through feeling like crap? What kind of side effects am I having? Is it a headache or is it nausea? And what can I do for that? So, we're in this together, and I'm really, really, really excited to have you guys with me because the last year building this community and having conversations with you all and having some of you on the show to talk about your experience with your message has been really uplifting on some of my darkest days. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you on Monday, and love you guys. You're fantastic. And Andrea's going to be here with me. That's my wife. She's going to come back in, and we're going to do this. She's at the doctor's right now. And we're going to get through this together. So thank you all. I'm Cliff. This is Life with a Mess. I'll see you next week.